Hello and welcome to Practical Chaos Podcast. I'm your host, Emily. We're going to delve into that bad advice given with the best of intentions. Hello and welcome back. Or if this is your first episode, welcome. Glad to have you. Happy you could join me. Today's episode is You're Young and You Have All the Time in the World, also known as You're Only Young Once. There are similar sentiments that are given, and I think that they are all dumb. To me, saying stuff like this is pretty much like saying, oh, hey, you're young, so don't even worry about it. You don't need to do anything at all to improve your life. So when we sit here and we talk about this whole you're only young once thing, one of the biggest things that I think about is this is advice that's given to every high school graduate, even college graduates are told you're only young once, so live your life and make sure you experience everything. And it's said with those classic best intentions that all of the advice on this show is said with, but I feel like it gives young adults reasons to just be irresponsible, and it's really used as an excuse to go party. So I'm sitting here, I should be doing homework, I get invited to a party, and I'm like, oh man, I should really just be doing this homework, but I'm only young once, so I go party instead. And it's intentionally wasting time is suddenly okay just because you want to tell these people that they're only young once. How long am I only young once for? What? Because to lots of people, I am still very young. I am 29 and I am, very young compared to a lot of other people. But to some people, I could be considered old because I'm almost 30. And while I don't appreciate that, I do understand it. But listen here, you youngins. I'm not old. Not yet. I'm still young once, okay? When we sit here and we talk about this, do you know how much I could have gotten done had I not only been young once and kind of just done whatever I wanted? Because maybe I took the advice a little bit the wrong way. I could have saved so much money, not going out and partying, not just buying things that would make me happy in the moment. If I had actually made some investments into my future, I would have so much money saved right now. And I feel like we should be telling people that you're young once, yes, but you still need to be preparing for the long game. I would have done more research into schools and careers and what I could actually do with the degrees that I sought out to receive. And the degree that I even have now, I don't even use it. I have a whole degree that I do not use because I worked in the field for 6 months and I did not enjoy it. I'm sorry. I work with people and that's what I do. But I did not enjoy working in healthcare. So if you work in healthcare, great for you. I did not enjoy it at all. It was not my favorite. Had I not been told you're only young once, I bet my credit score would be a whole lot better too. You're learning a lot of really personal information about me. So if you've tried to steal my identity or you're thinking about trying to steal my identity, I'm just letting you know, if you can get something done with it, please just come tell me where you got it done at, because I'm having a little bit of trouble myself, okay? I'm struggling a little bit. I'm riding the struggle bus. I'm driving the struggle bus. Get on the bus. Let's roll. But I feel like telling people that you're only young once, live life to the fullest. Yes, those are all really great pieces of advice. Just go do whatever you want. It's a self-defeating formula, my friends. Telling yourself fun doesn't happen when you get older. Why does your age get to determine how much happiness you have and your well-being? Don't you think I would be able to do more when I'm older if I set myself up in my younger years? Aren't I going to be able to travel or see different things, go different places, all of that fun stuff? If I had set myself up, I could have done that so much sooner. It just makes me so mad because I could have done so many things. Not that I regret anything. I live my life with no regrets. No regrets. None. Not a single regret. Everything I've done has brought me to where I am today, which is making this podcast for you guys and sharing my advice and information. But is it's suddenly okay to do the things that are going to now shorten my life, like drinking excessively, trying crazy drugs that may or may not be good for you. Who knows? Doing all of these things, and then when someone hurts themselves too bad by indulging in all of this, we have the audacity to suddenly say to them, oh, only the good die young. Which, I'm just saying, is also just a little bit false. I'm pretty sure there are probably some bad people out there who've died young. Just throwing that out there. I can't name any off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure it's a true thing. So, the good are not the only ones who die young. Thank you very much. Pretty sure there's lots of people. Sadly. I'm sorry. I'm being a downer now. But, there are activities that are going to make your life shorter that we're encouraging these other people and each other as young people to go ahead and indulge in. And we're doing this and essentially telling them when you do it when you're young, there are no consequences. What if you're caught and you have to serve jail time or anything like that, and now suddenly you can't go into the career that you have been going to college for 3 or 4 years already, and you're going to have a degree in, but you're not going to be able to go into your field because of something you did, because you're only young once. You're only young once, so don't forget to get arrested a couple times. It could be good for you, or not. Yeah. And it's this whole sentiment of you're only young once, you only have one life to live, so on and so forth, so make sure you're indulging in different things and trying different things. While, like I said, it's all given with the best of intentions. It's trying to encourage you to enjoy every moment of your life, in my opinion, but it's also supposed to be there to encourage you to protect your youth and to protect that innocence that comes with youth. But when we're telling people to live your best life, are we telling them to protect their youth by drinking excessively? By partying and being so irresponsible that it's going to be almost near impossible for them to come back from it in a timely fashion? Are these all things that are actually protecting someone's youth? There are lots of different ways that you can actually protect your youth. There are a lot of people out there who are in their 70s and 80s and living their best life. They're healthier than they were when they were younger. They are more fit. They are doing things that are actually making them younger in a sense because they are protecting their youth in a different way. And so the ways to protect your youth is going to be by taking care of yourself, taking care of your health, investing in yourself as a person in whatever fashion that means to you. That could be investing in yourself and your health by working out, by eating better, by not doing things, or by doing things. I know quite a few people who, do things that I'm not going to necessarily mention 100% by name, just because I don't know a whole lot about it, but they're living their best mental health. They're in their best mental health that they can be. They're taking care of themselves in ways that need to be taken care of. They might just be doing it a little bit of a different way, but it's still helping them, and they're still protecting that youth for themselves. Form a healthy habit, whether it's going for a walk every day with your dog, or maybe it's, I'm going to eat a salad every day. It's little things. I'm going to drink water instead of, a bunch of soda or a bunch of pop. I'm going to do all of this. Those are ways to actually protect your youth by taking care of your health and your mental health as well, because your mental health ties into your physical health. That's a whole other thing. We can go into that a different time. I feel like I'm talking really fast today, so I'm going to slow it down a little bit. But by forming these healthy habits and taking care of your physical and your mental health, you are actually extending your youth, because you are now in a better physical and mental state. And that way you can actually live a younger life. I use quotations on that because, like I said, where do we draw the line at who's young and who's not? Because everybody's young to somebody and everybody's old to somebody. So it's one of those things with trying to draw the line on where do we draw the line on someone being old versus being young. And to me, it's all that mental state. So by preparing yourself with these mental states and by preparing yourself physically, I feel like you can extend that feeling of youth and that feeling of longevity and fun and goodness just by taking care of yourself. Also, take care of your financial health. That's an important thing too. If you're financially healthy, guess what you get to do when you are, quote, old? You get to do all the things that you might have wanted to do when you were a poor 20-something in college with no money, drinking super cheap beer. Well, guess what? Now, since you are financially healthy in your older years, like I said, I will not put a number on it because I believe it's all a concept of your own mind, and whether or not you think of yourself as old is all up to you. So if you think you're old right now, awesome. If you think you're young right now, sweet, is what it is. But, if you are setting yourself up to be financially healthy as a person as well, you are now also setting yourself up for more fun and all of those things that you couldn't do in your early 20s because you didn't have the money. You're going to be able to travel maybe to a different country. Maybe it's just across the United States because you have never done that before. But you're going to be able to do these things. You're going to be able to buy yourself that car that you were looking at when you were 20, when you were 16, when you were 11, and you decided that was the car you wanted. By setting yourself up financially, you're going to be able to do these things. You're going to be able to buy that dream home. You're going to want to push yourself to do things in your career that are going to help you and only make you a better off when it comes to those times when you want to do these fun things. It's by telling people you're only young once, it's essentially telling them don't work for anything and you're not going to move forward anywhere. It's setting people up for failure. It's that self-defeating formula by sitting here and telling yourself, I'm only young once, so I can go binge drink and do this, that, and the other. I'm only young once, so I'm going to spend all of my money on this. You're setting yourself up for failure. You never hear people who are very successful in what they're doing or who have made a lot of money saying you're only young once, make sure you do all your dumb decisions when you're young, make sure you're getting crazy and doing all that stuff. You really don't hear that from these people who are successful, people who have built their empires in their early 20s, in their late 20s. You don't hear a lot of that from these people. These people have worked very hard to get where they are, and they've done it for a very long time across the board. You also never hear someone who's middle-aged and successful and happy give out advice like, hey, you're only 20 once. Go waste as much of your time as possible. Why? Because they've built their own happiness. Do you know who you do hear say those things? People who are not happy with where they're at in their lives, whether it's because they are middle-aged now and they're unhappy with where they are. Happiness is something that you can create for yourself. Now, I'm not saying if you're depressed, you aren't creating your own happiness. That's a whole different situation. But the decision to be happy in your life and with where you are, the only person who can create that happiness is yourself. So to sit here and tell yourself you're only young once, this is the only time I'm going to be happy in my entire life because I'm young, is absolutely ridiculous and off the wall. You can create happiness no matter what age you are or what part of your life you're in. Whatever chapter or season you're in, you can create happiness in that season. Now, are there going to be tough seasons where it might not be as happy as we would like? Yes, of course. Everybody goes through seasons like that, but it's a season. It changes. And the thing that can change that, the catalyst for that, is you making healthy decisions for yourself and making healthy decisions to move forward. These are all things that are going to change it for you. Because if you sit there like a little bump on a log going, oh no, why? Why am I like this? No, I'll never be as happy as Bill Gates. I'm only young once. I should live it up now. Like, if you're telling yourself that, it's all of self-fulfilling prophecy. You're only going to manifest, as crazy as that sounds, you're only going to manifest what you put out into the world. So if you're constantly telling yourself, I'm going to fail, I'm going to do this, I'm never going to be this, well, guess what? You're never going to see the opportunity that's going to lead you to that. So don't give up everything to try and make yourself better, but plan for your long life, not a shorter future. So this whole, the good only die young and, you're only young once, it's essentially making it sound like you're not going to live a nice, long, happy life. And you're really planning for that short life. And so you're kind of fucking everything up and doing whatever you want, but it's not going to work out. If you are living this long and happy life, if you're investing in your health and you're investing in yourself, you're going to have a really long, happy life. And you're going to be able to find that happiness in places where other people might not find any happiness. You need to make investments in your life, make investments in yourself. Like I was saying, whether that's, getting a degree, maybe it's doing something that is a little bit crazy. I know people who worked for the Peace Corps, and that was their crazy thing that they did. But it was a fantastic thing. They've worked for, I forget what it's called, but there's a corps in the United States where they go around and they help different communities and they try and help within the community versus outside of the country. So it's like the Peace Corps, but for the United States itself. It's really, really cool. I worked with a few of them when I worked at my summer camp. Ooh, I just bonked my whole desk. I thought I was going to knock the shit out of it. Oh my gosh, I had small heart attack, guys. I'm attacking. It's my heart is attacking. And my headphones turned off, so I'm going to take them off my face because my face is hot. But it's cold at the same time. I swear. I'm falling apart, my friends. I'm falling apart. These people that are doing this, they made investments in themselves. They decided instead of going to college and partying, I'm not saying that they didn't party a little bit, but, instead of going to college and partying or, just partying in general and not going to college, they decided to try and make a difference in something that they felt was important. So taking something that you feel is important and making a difference in it is also investing in yourself and investing in your life. There was a really good quote that I read while reading about You're Only Young Once, because I do try and find some articles to read to get some different perspectives on the different advice that I bring you guys. And I really liked this. It's grind while they rest, study while they party, and you'll live while they dream. So if you're doing everything you can to invest in yourself, like I said, I'm not saying give up everything. You can have, that classic fun. You can go out and party with your friends. But when you make the decision to invest in yourself, such as I'm going to invest in myself by studying versus going out this weekend, well, now you've put yourself one step ahead of the people who aren't studying that did go out that weekend. If you are doing all of that, there are going to be people who are going to be sitting there dreaming about the life that you want. We all see these people on Instagram and Facebook who were like, oh man, I wish I could do that. A lot of times they've just invested in themselves something different than you did. I'm not saying that your life is any worse than theirs by any means. There are people looking at your life who wish they had what you had. It just is how it is. But they've invested something in their life that they felt was important that got them where they are. And so if you're willing to sit there and invest in yourself and invest in your life, you're going to be able to find yourself where you want to be. And we also shouldn't be sitting here and comparing my happiness is going to be completely different than your happiness. What makes me happy and what makes me feel good at the end of the day is not going to be the same as what makes my best friend happy and makes my best friend feel good at the end of the day. We all live completely different lives, so we need to be able to define our own happiness and not base it off of what somebody else's happiness is. We can set our lives up for unlimited time and resources for fun and happiness. It doesn't have to be, I only was happy and had fun in my 20s and now the rest of my life I'm trying to recover from that. The sooner you make the decision to invest in yourself, the sooner you can get into building that life for yourself. The longer it takes you, the longer it's going to take you to fix what you kind of fucked up a little bit. Not saying everyone that, is partying out there is fucking their lives up, but, you make decisions that can set you back from where you were wanting to be. It can set back an investment you were wanting to make, whether that's an actual physical investment in something or just an investment in yourself. And so youth isn't there to just be spent recklessly. You can decide to do something productive versus partying. And anyone who judges you, send them my way and I'll tell them to shut the fuck up. Because if you're investing in yourself, that's important, and I believe in you and I am so proud of you. You are doing an amazing job investing in yourself, and I want you to know that. Life can be short, and it's not great to live in the fear of the future that might not happen. Like I said, there's this whole notion that life is too short, but I believe the complete opposite. For the most part, life is too long. We have so much time to do these things, but we just don't necessarily all invest in our lives the way we should. And life doesn't have to be feared for what the future may or may not bring. You could be terrified that the future is going to bring you nothing but unhappiness. And like I said, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. That's a very good chance that that's all you're going to find in your life. But we also shouldn't live in the fear that our lives are going to be shorter than they may be. Some lives are short, and that just is what it is. That's when we come across this whole only the good die young. But then we also, it's the nostalgia from people that we know and the things that they did, and the what ifs. The what ifs are going to kill all of us, I swear, because there's so many of them. My dad died when he was 36. I don't think that there's probably ever a day or time where he thought that was where his life was going to end up. Did my dad make the best decisions all the time? No, I guarantee you he did not. He made a lot of decisions that I'm sure had he been given an opportunity, he might have changed, or he might have lived his life with the same idea that I have, which is there are no regrets. It takes me to where I am today. And, I wouldn't change anything in the world to be, where I am today with my husband and my child, talking to you on this fantastic podcast. I wouldn't change that. My dad died very young, and things can happen like that, but that's not everybody's story. My great-grandmother was like 99 when she passed away, so you can have that life that does only last till you're 36, and maybe you didn't have all the fun that you were expecting in the world, or you could live until you're 100 years old. And you could have experienced so much life and shared it with so many people because you invested in yourself and in your future. Don't turn it into a sprint just for fear the race will end early. It's a marathon all day, every day. And we don't need to try and sprint through the different parts of our lives just because we feel like it might be cut too short. Yes, live every day like there is not a tomorrow. I completely agree with that. As corny as that might be, you do want to be able to tell the people that you love them when you see them. I'm a very firm believer in saying I love you to lots of people. That's why I tell you at the end of this podcast that I love you, because somebody out there loves you. And I don't see any problem with that. It's going back to that the more you wander and experiment, my apologies, the longer it's going to take you to get on track eventually with where you need to be able to set yourself up for that success later down the road. So don't use this saying as an excuse to procrastinate. Enjoy, love life, do all of that fun stuff, but have goals and put things into motion to be able to achieve those goals that you have. If your goal is to retire at 50 and be able to travel the world, set some things in place. Read some articles. Talk to different people who've been able to do what you're trying to do. Have these goals in your mind and actually go and do them. If your goal is to be able to run a marathon when you're 75, you have to have goals to be able to get there. Everything we want to do in life is all about our goals. So please set some goals for yourself. Have fun. Know that age is just a number and it doesn't determine whether or not you're young. So this whole you're only young once is ridiculous because I'll be young forever and ever and ever. And so will you, my friend. So thank you so much for listening today. I know I got a little heated with this one. I just think there's so many people out there who are, set in the fact that if they don't do these things now, they're not going to be able to enjoy themselves in the future. And I think that's just, I've lived it, I've done it, but I think it's a ridiculous way to live and we need to try and do better. And if I can help someone decide to set some goals or encourage them that what they are doing and the goals that they do have is something that's going to help their future, and I'm encouraging you and making you feel better about the decisions that you've made, awesome. That is so awesome. Like I said before, I am so, so, so proud of you. I'm proud of everything that you're accomplishing, and I am so proud of what you've decided to do with your life. So thank you. And thank you so much for listening today. I want to go ahead and let you all know I do have my interviews starting here. And so please go ahead and head over to interview number 1, which is all about focus on making your spouse happy, and you'll be happy too. As ridiculous as that sounds, you know it's sure to be good. So please head over to that episode and take a listen. I will be releasing these episodes on the 1st of every month from here on forward. If you would like to be a guest, please head over to my website, practicalchaospodcast.com, and fill out the form on the contact page. And I will go ahead and reach out via email and we can discuss what you would like to talk about. I do also have the next interview is going to be my Crunchy Mom saga. So it is bound to be a lot of fun. So come join the Soggy Mom and the Crunchy Mom and see what we talk about. It's going to be a good time. Next week's episode is all about treating others the way you want to be treated. It's going to be a good one, so please make sure you tune into that. If you have not already, please hit that like, subscribe, share button, all of those good things depending on where you are listening. If you happen to be listening on Apple Podcasts, please leave me a review. I do read them. Please let me know what you think of the show, what I can do to improve. I'm always here to take some advice from you, so please let me know how I can improve the show. And as always, love ya. Toodles.